come back with a really massive bruise or some really good story, I'm going to be disappointed.
And that's, my friends, is how you do a cold opening.
Excellent.
Yes. And we have high expectations. Is he gone? Is he gone?
He's gone.
Oh, good. So we can totally just shit on the big white buffalo bitch. We're still at the stream is starting. So we're not officially going to be starting yet, but this is kind of the pre-show, so to say.
Mm-hmm. And do you have our volume still muted in OBS, or are we live?
We be live, babe.
Yep, I just saw it pop
we
up
be live,
on YouTube.
Babe.
I'm going to copy the link into the chat here.
Good.
Bring it. Bring that chat. Oh, bring that link.
Copy that link. I'm gonna send it all over the place.
Hot.
Yeah.
Forward, I think, is the proper button. No. How am I supposed to? I just screw it. I'm just gonna click it, and I'm gonna mute it. And gonna send it everywhere. Gonna send it to media in different chats. Furries. We be talking about cartoons we grew up with. I know that it didn't rhyme, but really, who gives a shit? Ha.
As long as we're matching the meter.
Do. Unfortunately, tonight we do not have
Death
Envoy.
And tweet away.
Anyways, there we go. Let's post that saying we be talking about cartoons we grew up with. Awesome.
Discord to start sharing this shit.
Join us. Mwahahaha. And I can't think of any other Discord servers. I'm gonna plop it in my tweet.
I already made a tweet, but feel free to share mine if you like, in addition to your own.
Cartoons we grew up with. It's kind of sad how it looks like I'm still using Windows XP. And that was actually a Windows, it was a Windows 7 mod that made it look like XP.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. It actually really messed with the show. Oh, not the show, with my computer. And Facebook. Talking about TV shows we grew up with. We are we're not quite professional yet, but we are a professional-like show.
Yes, that.
Whoa, this guy I actually... Whoa, I knew this guy back in high school.
Oh, cool.
Trippy. That's so weird.
Right on.
We were in Boy Scouts together.
Damn.
Yeah.
Right on.
Hey, David.
Ah,
David, welcome
Hello
back.
there,
Yo, what's going on?
David.
So, what's going on down tonight? We be talking about, TV shows, not necessarily cartoons, but TV shows that we grew up with. But first, before all things, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the Tridorks. Please note our sponsor, our general sponsor for most of our shows. That's going to be True Apparel 1, at True Apparel 1 on Twitter. And if you have any sort of ideas for nerdy apparel and game-centric apparel, they're more than happy to put that together for you. They produce really comfortable clothing, and if you don't have any artwork already designed, go ahead and send some cash my way, and I'd be more than happy to slap something together for you. What's $15 for a high quality image, right? So there we go. Everybody gets happy. You get some awesome custom made art on some awesome custom comfortable clothing. So moving straight on, roll call. Name's Coop Cheese right here. We also have together for our one of our primaries, we have our wizard.
That's me, Dash Magnum.
All right, and we have our lady.
Hello, Sasha Paws here.
There we go. I thought you said that you had a sexy sounding mic.
Oh, shut up.
I think you're
You know,
just.
I can't put up with
I
you.
think you're just sitting away from it.
I am. I'm actually comfortable while I'm doing this podcast.
Comfy. Who wants to be comfy? Oh, whoa, cool. I can actually see the chat not in YouTube. Like, I can see it just, like, right there. Oh,
Handy.
that's so rad.
I told you OBS, Streamlabs OBS was better.
Yeah, no, this is great. Let me see here. How did I?
Welcome to the Tridorks, where we upgrade our technology slowly over time.
And Coop slowly learns that he's doing something.
Learning and actually getting a lot better at things, which is amazing.
I don't know how it happened, but now I don't know how to change it from stream is starting to just the background.
You choose
One thing at a time. One thing at a
choose the
time.
background scene, and then you click transition at the top.
There is no transition button.
Okay,
Oh wait, there
lower
it is.
left.
Oh wait, there it is.
Studio.
Wait.
Oh, there you go.
Nope. There it is. Okay, good.
You got it. Awesome.
I did a thing.
You
Voice.
did the thing.
Woo! Okay,
Did
so
that thing all night long.
So, we have a couple of technically 2 generations of media that also kind of blend over each other.
A little bit.
Let's go in chronological order. Dash Magnum, would you mind telling us about some of the television shows that you watched growing up as a child?
Okay, so I born in '82, so I caught most of the '80s wave of action figure cartoons, commercials that were masquerading as cartoons. Your He-Mans, that was an early one. I was also really into Dino Riders.
Dino Riders was awesome.
Was awesome. Again, I was big into the toys as well because again, each of these cartoons was a commercial for toys. and also caught the RoboCop cartoon along similar lines that was not as brutal as its movie counterpart. But then, yeah, also, caught a little bit of the Smurfs, a little bit of the Sesame Street.
Would you like to tell us the story of that you just told us about your parents and RoboCop?
So, before Dino Riders would come on, it would always be Sunday mornings. First to come on was RoboCop the cartoon, which was very, 80s. I am John Robert Cop, and I am here to stop the crime. Kind of cartoon, and I was like, "Ooh, this is fun. I like this. He's a robot man." I hear there's a movie. Can I see the movie, Mom and Dad? And they're no, not that. You can watch the cartoon, but not the movie. And it would be many years later that I would realize why they said that, and they made the right call. They totally made the right call. I was not ready for that.
For the mind fuckery that was RoboCop.
For watching poor Robert Cop get exploded by bullets in the first 20 minutes of the film.
The man who got acid thrown on his face.
There was that. There's the guy who got hit by the car and it just exploded. That's not even getting into something in RoboCop 2, man.
Seeing his face it's incredible how they did that with just practical effects, where the face separated from the rest of the head.
That could be a whole other podcast talking about those movies.
Oh my gosh!
And there we go.
Paul Verhoeven,
CGI.
you crazy European.
And practical effects.
But definitely that.
Add that to the docket for later.
When I was a bit older, it was the original Ninja Turtles cartoon.
That was
very big.
My favorite.
That was a good one. Then of course your GI Joes.
Ninja Turtles. I know that for a fact, my friend, you have a lot to say about GI Joe and and specifically Cobra Commander.
Yeah, do like that dork. But yeah, this is what I'll say about G.I. Joe, the original cartoon, holds up in a way that your He-Mans and your some of your other ones don't quite hold up the same way. Those are still generally fun.
But this was purposely campy.
Oh yeah, but it was still they kind of knew what they were doing. Like the episode where G.I. Joe in the very beginning raids a Cobra warehouse and gets all the stolen treasure they've been squirreling away. So then Cobra has to have an open house to all the, your typical 80s evil world leaders, your Gaddafis, your Castros and whatnot, selling off Cobra stuff to pay their bills. And then eventually him contacting a loan shark, stealing the money, and then using that money to make a mind control rock band called Cold Slither, which G.I. Joe then had to make their own good guy version of a band to stop their mind. All that in one episode. It was wild time.
That sounds like the synopsis of the second Equestria Girls movie.
Maybe they learned a thing or two. Who knows?
I think it's a stale concept by this point.
I mean, who doesn't love a good Battle of the Bands?
Very
storyline?
true.
It's true.
It's classic.
You can't go wrong with that.
Let's see. After
you were telling me though, not to cut you off on your topic, but
oh yeah, no problem.
I remember you telling me the concept for the writers for coming up with Cobra Kai.
Cobra Kai or Cobra Commander?
Or Cobra Commander specifically.
I mean, I think.
I'm trying to remember. They couldn't take him seriously as a villain, so they decided to make him an absolute nutcase.
I mean, yeah, that's part. I mean, part of the great dynamic with Cobra Commander is that it's who he's surrounded by. because as he is, he's got the same voice actor as Starscream, so he's got this voice that's kind of like this. So he's a very kind of high energy, nutcase, like you said. But he's surrounded by guys like Destro and Baroness, who are, the two hot, cool kids who are always making out around him and not paying attention to what he's doing and kind of, always digging into him and needling him. God, I love Destro. That guy is bonkers. A Scottish lord with a giant metal encased head, dressed like Dracula. And then they bring in, crazy people like Serpentor and the whole Cobra Law stuff with the movie.
For some reason, when before you said the name, I thought you were going to say Sir Pants-a-Lot.
No, Serpentor. No, don't get me wrong. Serpentor is equally bonkers, equally bananas. Because see, to make him, he's actually a clone, but they brought they get all the best DNA from all the best conquerors. Your Genghis Khans, your Attila the Huns, your Alexander the Greats, and you combine all that together, and apparently you get a snake-themed man who also has a superiority complex and is there again basically to dunk on Cobra Commander, make him feel inadequate. It's great. It's pretty great.
So what you're telling me is that character and Cobra Commander is like if you were to swap Starscream and Megatron.
A little bit. I mean, a closer dynamic. Gosh, I'm trying to think. I'd have to. The neat thing about it is it is kind of unique because it's like they make this guy who's supposed to be like this ultimate tactical leader, but they already have Cobra Commander, and he doesn't want to give up, his position. But we have the Serpentor guy. Why don't we use him? And it's I mean that's like the neat. It's the typical thing of always contrasting the heroes with the villains. The heroes is all about learning to work together and to use each other's strengths and cooperate, while the villains are just mercilessly digging into each other at every top opportunity, and it's hilarious. Honestly, it's cliche to say that the villains are sometimes the most interesting part of the cast, but in this case, with the exception of maybe Snake Eyes, it's kind of true.
No, actually,
just 'cause it's fun to watch.
I always believe that the best part of any hero villain style show is actually the villains themselves.
Well, it's always the problem with the protagonists is they always have to react to the villain, so the villain gets to drive all the action, and the hero's just there to be like, nope, no, you don't, and which is fine. It's just it can, if you're not careful, it can lead to the hero seeming more flat and less.
Well, yeah,
like,
that's
you always know what the villain wants, because they're the ones going like, I want this thing. I will put missiles inside all of these Bob's Big Boy style mascots, and see, there's at least something interesting going on there. The heroes just start to go like
from the 90s and 80s ever.
Oddly,
Yeah.
That is so oddly specific.
It was like the plot to another G.I. Joe cartoon.
I almost thought that was like an Austin Powers thing almost, where the...
Well, I mean, they also make use of the Bob's Big Boy rocket to great effect. Once again, flee, and I will come back when this era of free love and acceptance has lapsed and gone away. Flash forward to the 90s.
Ah, shit, everything got worse. I mean, better for humanity, but worse for me. Fuck.
Yes. And look what happened to Mr.
Whoa!
Bigglesworth.
Did you just suddenly summon Death Envoy for some reason?
Bullshit! Cornhole!
He's here in spirit. I can feel him.
You might need a Spectre deflector then.
My Spectre against yours, then.
I see your Schwartz is as big
Speaking of which, another show I remember watching a lot. Do you guys remember James Bond Jr.?
I wish I did. That sounds amazing.
Again, another.
Do.
It's like a Captain Planet era cartoon where it's like, hey, what if James Bond but he's a high school student, and it's actually not even James Bond. It's his nephew somehow, but still also has the junior honorific.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, it
It's
was
weird.
bad, but it was also kind of great.
Yeah.
Because they couldn't do all the James Bond stuff because, like, they obviously can't do the, the sexy stuff because it's again a cartoon for little babies. But Jaws would show up sometimes, and other villains. They make up their own host. There was one I swear they would steal names from like Carmen Sandiego. I think there was one called like Misfortune.
Oh, Carmen Sandiego. What a babe.
Hey, speaking of other TV shows, the Carmen Sandiego quiz show cartoon.
The actual quiz show and the cartoon.
Rockapella. Yeah, and the cartoon.
Oh, in the cartoon, man, she was a babe.
Even in the Prodigy game, I mean.
As a kid, like, I knew, like, that's the kind of woman I like.
That will date me very specifically. I specifically remember one of my first uses of the internet was playing the Carmen Sandiego game on Prodigy. On the dial-up.
Where in the world is Carmen
Sandiego? Where? And I forget the name of the actress who was the chief, but she was great. The one who would actually run the show.
Yeah.
Very good.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of which, there's like a whole rash of like kids quiz show or game show, like your Nickelodeon Double Dare.
Oh yeah, Nickelodeon was king for that. Yeah, Double Dare.
Slime.
Canada had an amazing kids game show, and it was called Uh-Oh.
Oh, Dish, tell us about it.
Okay, so Uh-Oh was a kids game show that took place over 3 rounds, and there were 3 teams. You had a red team, a blue team, and a green team. Each team was a team of 2 kids that would come in, and they would have to answer trivia questions, or they would have to do some sort of endurance test of some sort, all based around, getting messy and stuff like that. When they got the question type answers, every time the person who was at the podium got it wrong, their partner would be put into think of it like a phone booth chamber almost. And the guy I swear he wears like a gimp suit, but he's clad in black leather, and he stands up above the booth with this giant bucket of slime, and every time they get it wrong, he makes some sort of a one-liner quip about getting messy or slimed or something in one way or another, and then he literally pours it. Yeah, and then he would literally pour it into the funnel at the top and completely drench the kid in this this slime ooze crap. And then come the end of the show, you'd tell who did the worst because they were covered in the most different colors.
Right.
And then they got to win prizes like video game systems and stuff like that.
Nice. Always the top prize for any kind of tween-aged kid.
Yeah, but unfortunately that goes along the lines of our. I guess this isn't just cartoons from our childhood. It's TV shows in general.
We said that from the top. Just any TV shows.
Yeah, another really cool Canadian show that I remember watching all the time on YTV on weekends was Video and Arcade Top 10. It was filmed directly in downtown Toronto, and starting from like the NES era and moving forward, they would have like 4 kids come and quite literally have a tournament edition gameplay of whatever one of the newest, hottest systems and games was at the time. And throughout the entire thing, you would see the kids playing the games. They would give you video game trivia and facts. They would drop you some cheat codes. They would go into video game-related news. And then whoever did the best at the tournament would get to go over to the prize corner, pick out like a ping pong ball with a number on it, and then they'd get something off the prize wall, whether it be, a brand new video game system, or, a subscription to Nintendo Power for a year, or, some third party controllers that were super great at the time and being, touted all over the place. It was one of my favorite news shows, actually.
Nice.
I wasn't usually a huge fan of live action shows growing up.
Me either, to be honest.
But I did appreciate the ones that were on Nickelodeon, because they always had some weird, wacky gimmick to them, you know.
Absolutely, yeah.
Like Legends of the Hidden Temple. Just such a good game where it's you got a team of like 4 teams of kids, and each team had 4 kids each,
roughly.
And I think it was the Golden Monkey, oh gosh, what was it? There was a snake in there, and 2 others. But so first they had to cross like an open pit. It's basically like Gladiators for kids. But there was actually a different show that was Gladiators for kids, and I don't remember what that was called. What was that called, RJ?
Ooh. See, I know the one that was American Gladiators for adults.
Yeah, then there was the one where
there was one for kids.
It had a pyramid, and they had to get to the top.
Was it the Aggro Crag?
No.
I remember the Aggro Crag.
But that one, once again, because it was Nickelodeon, involved slime.
Right.
I just always constantly remember them having their yellow mouth guards.
Right.
And they would have their helmets and their shoulder pads and their elbow pads and knee pads. Like, it's like they just looked like, this is the epitome of what you should look like if you're on a skateboard.
Very true.
And
very true.
They'd climb up this thing. Oh gosh, what was it? I can't remember what it was called, but that one was actually a lot of fun. I did enjoy that one. Then there was not Family Feud, but there was a Nickelodeon version of that.
Right.
So they had their own family throwdown kind of show.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember specifically love it, and it didn't have a very long run, like maybe 2 seasons at most. And it was late 80s, early 90s, so it's in the very back crevices of my brain. And every time I remember it, of course, my brain's going to change the memory a little bit, because that's how memories work.
That's how memory be.
But it was this video game show on Nickelodeon. I think it was called Video Power. It was either Video Power or Nick Arcade.
Right.
Where basically, like, the kids, they had to first answer, like, video game quiz questions.
Mm-hmm.
And if they got so many right, then they got to go over to the arcade cabinet. And there were 3 different arcades, and they could choose between 3 different games. One, and I believe it was actually funded by Sega, so you didn't see any Nintendo products on there. You saw there was Sonic 1, there was Altered Beast, and I think actually there was a Konami game, Super Ghouls and Ghosts.
Oh, yeah.
And so it's like, okay, well, you have to choose between these 3. And there was always a wild card one, something weird. And
sure.
Depending on the rules, they could either choose the game, or they could or it could be randomly selected for them. I can't remember the rules, because like I said, it was years ago. And
Understandable. Yeah.
and I just remember, so each one would be like you have to get the highest score in the shortest amount of time.
Right.
So it was like you can only play for like 30 seconds and try to get as far as you can. And I always liked watching the kids playing Altered Beast and Sonic the Hedgehog because I'm like, those are my games. Those are my games. Yeah, man. Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
So whenever I saw them play Sonic, I'm like, you idiot! You dropped down into the hole. No, why'd you do that? this little 4-year-old kid going, no, you dummy.
No.
I'm like,
Oh well.
I deserve to be on the show.
If only.
If only. But yeah, I mean, aside to that, like I was never really into live action kid sitcoms like all that.
I did watch a little bit of Punky Brewster growing up.
The hell
Kinda
is
along
the hell is Punky Brewster?
Okay, how do I describe Punky Brewster? It's basically she's a little girl and she has magic sometimes, I think. I am going off of many years' memory. Don't remember that well, but it was a typical, like you said, like live action 80s cartoon. Had a host of different other friends on the show. She had a dog. And then I remember there was one time where she was trapped in a weird Native American cave and there was a ghost she had to exercise.
Oh,
That was a weird one. But sometimes, like in the way 80s shows sometimes just get aggressively weird. Sometimes.
80s was aggressively weird.
Do you remember the super scary Garfield cartoon set around Halloween where like there's a pirate ghost story and it was like actually super aggressively scary for a children's cartoon?
No, I do not.
That was 80s. 80s was a time, my man.
But I do remember, I'm sure that if I were to go back to it now, I'd have no problem with it. But I remember
Probably not,
I remember being shown as a kid the Gremlins movie.
Oh,
The first
yeah.
one?
Ooh.
I was tiny, and that movie scared the shit out of me.
Yeah.
So much. I was like maybe 3, and they're like, they're just silly little monsters, and I'm like, no,
they're
no,
killing
they're
people.
Not.
They're killing people. Like there's a car that crashes into a home and kills some people.
Like they're scary looking. It
oh yeah,
it haunted me for several years. The only thing that trumped it was the T-Rex from Jurassic Park.
Well, sure. That also again definitely trying to be scary as possible.
That film, it actually scarred me for several years, which is why I freaking love it.
Yeah, no.
I still, when I watch that movie, I get chills. I regress into my like old childhood memories of like the fear and all of the nightmare horror dreams that I had of the T-Rex just showing up out of nowhere. All like
I'm sure
fine.
Jurassic Park
lovely...
2 was great for you then.
Lost World was a
where it actually shows up in like normal around San Diego basically.
well by the time that came out I was older.
Fair.
And it was more campy and kind of fun to watch. But it
Gotcha.
still had some very, very scary moments. So it's like,
sure.
Nope. I am scarred for life. When I went to the Los Angeles History Museum. The Science and History Museum. And they have this giant T-Rex skull.
Ooh,
I just
yeah.
looked at it and like I felt shivers. Like, oh my god!
Coming to get ya.
I'm like, nope, nope. But the thing is, like, I was weirdly attracted to it. Like,
Well, sure, because dinosaurs.
I wanted to study like it was scary. It was insanely scary. Looking at its fangs, at its teeth, at its
Dinosaurs are cool, though.
It's huge, and its head is freaking huge, man.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like literally in one bite, it could have taken my whole body in.
Yep, that's how it works.
I was just like, dear God. Dear God. Which is why I actually really appreciate, not to get too far off topic, which is why I really appreciate the latest two Jurassic World movies.
Uh-huh.
Because those monsters, like, at this point they're basically kaiju films, you know?
Right.
They're fun monster flicks, but they are legitimately scary creatures.
Mm-hmm.
And just as there's no spoiling for anybody out there, Jurassic World 2, the scariest creature is not the dinosaur. That's all.
Yes, because the real monster was man all along.
Yes. Oh
That old
man,
chestnut.
the whole film is just is an actual fun mind fuck. But it's fun. It's fun. It's still an adventure film, but it's just like it holds the emotion and concept and feel of what Michael Crichton was originally trying to tell.
Mm-hmm.
Which I felt he failed to do so in Lost World. God, I hate that book. Speaking of which, stuff that we grew up with, I actually did read Jurassic Park when I was a child, in the early 90s. I was in the fourth grade, and that definitely did not help hinder my fear for the T-Rex at all.
No, but all those Crichton books were prime like middle school, high school reading material.
Yeah, even though technically they're considered adult quality, adult level, not like sexual adult, but I mean like
adult themes like taxes and mortgages.
Yeah, and higher level reading. So
right, exactly. Good times though.
I'm just stretching, just tooting my horn a little bit. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it feels good.
No, we know.
But so where were you during the SpongeBob era?
I was, I think, a little bit too old for that, so I knew about it. Didn't have a problem with it, but I missed most of it.
If you were to ever go back, I'd say just watch the first 2 seasons.
Okay.
It's by the same guy that did Rocko's Modern Life.
Oh yeah, I think Rocko's Modern Life was about the cutoff because that was in the middle of junior high, and after that I went to high school, and then I was I'm too cool for that stuff now until I got to college and realized, hey wait, that was all the fun stuff though.
Yeah.
I've been gypped.
Yep.
I've been gypped with this adult stuff. I'm going back to the kid stuff.
No, because at that point you were enjoying the beginning and the best of Toonami.
There was that.
Mm-hmm. You can't go wrong with good old fashioned animes.
Yeah. That's another topic, another time.
Well, we already kind of tried to talk about anime, but stuff happened, so...
That's okay.
Oi! My lady.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me about your... a little bit more about your shows that you grew up with.
Oh, jeez. Well, obviously, most of my shows, because I grew up in Ontario here, um, jeez, pretty much if it wasn't on YTV or Teletoon, we didn't watch all that much, I guess. Um, I'm trying to think of some non-Canadian centric shows
Oh,
because,
share it with the world. Come on, hun.
so obviously some of my favorites were, oh jeez, there was Reboot, which was amazing.
Oh yeah.
I
Reboot was a
watched
lot of
every episode.
First season was great. Second season sucked. Third season was awesome.
Uh, it was Reboot. Everything was awesome.
Let's agree to disagree on the second
Sure. I mean, oh, and don't forget Sonic Underground. That was amazing.
Fuck
Yeah.
you.
Want to agree to disagree now, bitch? Oh, I'm gonna give this man a corny.
I hate that show.
I'm gonna give this guy a coronary. What else did I watch? Why is it all escaping me? Friggin' Arthur. Arthur was friggin' amazing. Like the original,
Hey,
like for
when you're
5
walking
seasons.
down the street, everybody that you meet, it's got a totally different beat. And I say, hey, what a wonderful kind of day, where we can learn to work and play, and get along with each other.
Well, I think we found the musical artist between the three of us. Oh goodness. What else? I already touched on shows like Uh-Oh and Video and Arcade. Touched on a couple of cartoons that I liked. You mentioned SpongeBob. Obviously, I was at the right age to enjoy a lot of the SpongeBob things. Pretty much once the first movie came out, that was pretty much where I stopped watching SpongeBob as much.
Same here, but the movie was still, oh my god, so much fun.
Yeah, friggin' Hasselhoff in it.
David Hasselhoff.
David Hasselhoff as David Hasselhoff.
His mechanical pecs.
And he was in
Good
his like
times.
Baywatch attire too. Oh jeez.
They totally had the whole like you know, like in the Scooby-Doo cartoons where it'd be like the Harlem Globetrotters or Batman and Robin, both SpongeBob and
David
Patrick
David. Who are you? I'm David Hasselhoff.
David Hasselhoff.
No, I recently watched it. It was, who are you? And he's like, I'm David Hasselhoff. And that was it.
Oh, that's how it went. Okay.
That's how it
Nice.
went. Oh my god. Oh, that was incredible. Because none of the kids who were watching, especially like my little brother at the time, is like, I have no idea who that is. I'm like, I know who David Hasselhoff is.
I love how they ride him like a speedboat.
They ride on like a freaking
Yep.
speedboat, and then the bad guy like stabs him in the butt. And he's like, "Oh, careful down there." Oh, the only thing that would have made that movie better is if George Takei was in it.
Oh my!
Somehow.
My.
Did you see?
It's like-
Actually, I did see their second movie, the 3D one.
I didn't see that one.
That one was actually pretty damn funny because they were taking us. They were making fun of like superhero cinematic universe films.
Oh, cool.
It was really damn funny. It's like I don't even need. And the cool thing is like it's like an episode. You don't have to know the rest of the show to appreciate it for its ridiculousness. But I love the fact that when in the first one, when they get dried out, it's just, and they're in that shack. It's just like this dried starfish and a dried sponge.
Brilliant.
I don't need it. I don't need it.
I need it! That was from the cartoon with Frank. That was awesome. I'm a goofy goober, yeah. You're a goofy goober, yeah. Oh, jeez.
Okay, now let me put it this way, Dash.
Uh-huh.
I think it was, correct me if I'm wrong, Sash, the second episode where they accidentally stole a balloon.
Oh my god, that episode.
And they thought that,
Free Balloon Day, yeah.
and they thought that they stole a balloon, and they were like, "Oh my gosh, we're convicts. We have to run away. We have to like go and hide." You know, it's like basically saying like things usually. The moral of the story is, you know, things usually aren't as bad as you think that they actually are.
Right. You don't have to catastrophize everything.
Exactly, and they go off into the wilderness, and they're at the bottom of the ocean, and they have this little campfire, and they're like, and they're lamenting about this balloon.
We have water? We have fire underwater?
And Patrick goes, "Hey, SpongeBob, how is it that we're underwater and that we have a fire?" And immediately as he says it just goes out.
Well, as long as you weren't saying anything.
I didn't draw attention to it, but I believe it was episode 2 because that was the scene that sold me on the show. Like that scene right there, I was just like,
nice.
Yep, nope, this is gonna be good. I don't understand. I feel all happy and tingly inside. Is this bad?
Oh, so good.
Let's see here. We talked a little bit about some live action stuff. I think we've pretty much mostly avoided the live action Disney and Nickelodeon crap, aside to the Nickelodeon
game shows,
because those were definitely fun growing up.
Oh crap! I thought of a couple of more cartoons I used to watch.
Yeah, go
Bring
for
'em up.
it.
Friggin' Rugrats, Rocket Power, and The Weekenders. Friggin' amazing cartoons.
Okay, Rugrats. I had no shame in junior high and even into high school still watching Rugrats.
I have no shame watching any of that shit now.
Yeah, no. Rugrats is amazing, and it has so many layers and levels to it. It's just incredible. Especially when it comes to the because each episode talks about like social interactions, diving into imagination, but then also provides like, well, here's the adult aspect, and the adults are just like most of the time completely oblivious.
Yep.
How is that different than real life? Now that
I know.
Now that we're in our 30s.
It's just a complete reflection of life, and I'm like,
see, when I was a kid watching it, I'm like, wow, the parents are kind of stupid, and then as a 30-something, I'm like, fuck,
wow,
they haven't been as well put together as I do.
Yeah, I'm like, wow, I'm pretty stupid.
Pretty much.
A show that I both loved and I had a hard time watching was Doug.
Yeah.
Yeah, anyway.
Honk honk.
Ah, Skeeter. Freaking
Oh
love
my
Skeeter.
gosh. Because here's the thing. It's the same reason why I have a hard time watching The Office. Because as much as I love Steve Carell and that show, his character makes me feel extremely anxious. Because it's like he's so delusional that he puts himself into awkward situations.
Right.
And Doug, he's kind of a fish out of water. He's going through either, junior high school, something?
Right.
And he's constantly just... Unfortunately, I think part of the reason is because I related with him so much, is that, like, he would just dive into his imagination too often and create these delusions that were not actually what was happening in the situation. That was the gimmick to the entire show. The entire show, every episode was exactly that. And it just made me feel so awkward seeing him put himself into awkward situations. And I'm just like...
And the secondhand embarrassment would just get to you.
Yeah, and I'm just like, no, don't.
Oh, buddy.
But it was just like corny enough where it's like I could handle it. But yeah, no, like just Doug was such a hard show for me to handle, but I loved it so much.
Yeah, I can't argue with that. Again, another Nickelodeon alumni.
Yeah. Until they brought it to, I think, ABC, and they ruined it.
I don't think I was following it at that time, but oh well.
Well, I wasn't caring what was happening on ABC, so whatever. At the time.
There you go.
At the time.
Right.
However, I do have a rant, if I may.
I mean, this is nominally your show, so rant away.
So, one of my all-time favorite cartoon shows growing up was the Saturday morning Sonic the Hedgehog cartoon. And it was on ABC 7. Alright. So, Saturday morning, great time to be a kid, right? Especially in the 80s and the early 90s.
Sure.
You know, you had all the best worst cereals. You know, just wake up super early before mom and dad got up and pour yourself a big old bowl of Honey Nut Cheerios and add some brown sugar to it. Try to sneak in an extra hour of video games before they come in. And then watch some cartoons. And of course, there was Sonic the Hedgehog, and there were two Sonic cartoons. There was the UPN 13 one that was on Sunday mornings. It was more goofy. It was silly. It was cartoony. It was kind of like a. You
had the rooster and the little tracked vehicle. Ground guys.
Scratch and Grounder. And it was structured very similarly to, say, Rocky and Bullwinkle.
Sure.
See, at the time, I didn't appreciate it as much. Now that I'm older, I can look back at that cartoon and go, this is freaking hilarious.
You have Robotnik talking about his butt protector.
I know.
It's quality stuff right there.
And it's funny because I look back at the old serious cartoon that I took so seriously. I was like, yeah. I look back at it going, man, there's some really shitty episodes in here. But either way, I freaking loved that cartoon, right? The serious one.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
As a kid, and they were building up to the final episode where they're going to take out Robotnik, and I was super excited.
Mm-hmm.
They were advertising it and everything.
Oh boy.
Then turn it on. 9 a.m. Saturday morning. Sitting there with a smile. No Sonic.
Uh-oh.
Want to know what they replaced? Want to know what they replaced it with?
What'd they replace it with?
Want to know what they replaced the Ultimate Climax episode with?
I do believe I asked. What'd they replace it with?
Free Willy, the fucking animated series.
I'm sorry for younger you.
I was
quite
so
terrible, but
angry, and I watched it, and I hated every moment of it.
Of course, you were robbed.
I wasn't just robbed; it was also legitimately awful.
I'm sure.
And I'm just like, because he had a magical snorkel that allowed him to talk with the animals.
Oh, how magical!
I was so angry. I was just like, I want to throw my Sega as hard as I can against the wall, but then I won't be able to play Sonic anymore.
Yeah, that would be the consequence of that.
They robbed me.
Poor Sega kid.
And then later on, I picked up the DVD, which actually had the final episode. And to be honest, it was kind of shit.
Well,
but as a kid, like it would have been awesome.
Sure.
It had this crazy, awesome, explosive ending and everything, and Jim Cummings as Robotnik going, "I hate that hedgehog!"
Oh, Jim Cummings, legendary voice actor.
Like,
voice of Tigger and Mick Rogans.
Just, it was pretty much everything that the show was leading up to. But at the same time, I was just like,
oh, boy.
Why did you take this from me? Why did you take this from me? Like, I don't even want my Cheerios anymore. I don't watch Ren and Stimpy instead. I'm not crazy. You're crazy. My sister starts crying. Shut up, you!
Oh, dear.
Oh, my goodness.
Don't you dare tell anybody about this.
Oy vey.
Oh man, I was so angry. You can feel. I'm sure you can feel it still today.
Well.
Oh, wow! I actually got a fever over that.
Oh boy! Wow.
Ooh.
ABC, you robbed me.
Rage. Hey, I mean, we could talk about Sonic Underground.
Fuck you.
Wah, wah.
Either way, Sonic X is the superior cartoon show.
It was okay.
It was fine for what it was in its time. Mm-hmm. Sonic Boom, though, was awesome. And still is. It's a good show.
Nice.
Terrible game, but a good show. But I didn't grow up with it, so let's move on to another topic. Speaking of Saturday morning cartoons, what were some of your favorite Saturday morning cartoons?
Oh. Let's see. Mentioned Ninja Turtles already.
That's a good one.
I don't know if this counts strictly as Saturday morning, but I believe the Disney afternoon deserves an honorable mention at least.
Oh my god, yes.
Like, yeah.
Hey, who remembers Bonkers?
I remember Bonkers the cat.
Yep, Bonkers, the...
Wasn't that the
I
police
remember
cat
Bonkers the
thing?
cat. I remember Eek
Yeah.
the cat. I remember Garfield the cat.
No,
Heathcliff the
Felix
cat.
the cat.
Oh, Heathcliff.
Felix the cat.
I
Panther of Pink?
remember Felix the cat.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember the Panther of Pink?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, duh. By the way, in terms of live-action movies, the movies that the cartoons were originally based off of.
Inspector Gadget.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
No, but
Sorry.
Pink Panther 2, an incredible film. Great slapstick. Cannot go wrong with it.
It's very good.
Mm-hmm. And I mean the original second one. I'm not talking about the what's his name? The Steve Martin versions.
You're talking about the Peter Sellers version.
Yeah. Clouseau. Jacques Clouseau. But the old Pink Panther ones were so good because they could tell a story without having any dialogue.
Right.
Who's your favorite Looney Tune character?
Looney Tunes. That's another one I watched a lot of. My favorite Looney Tunes. Who was my favorite Looney Tunes? Do got a soft spot for that coyote. All his
Wile E.
various Acme schemes. Wile E. Coyote.
Wile E. Coyote and Roadrunner were definitely my dad's favorite.
My favorites had to have been Sam Sheepdog and Ralph Wolf.
Wow.
Nice.
Okay, the dog just went nuts.
Oh boy.
I don't know if either of you heard that.
I heard a little bit of it.
A little bit.
Wasn't sure what it was, but
She went after one of our cats and she actually, bit him.
dang.
Yeah, well, anyway.
Fun.
Yep. Stupid dogs. This is why cats are superior beings. Anyway, so yeah, Wile E. Coyote and Roadrunner.
Yep, like those guys. And like you said, Sam Sheepdog and was it Ralph the Wolf?
Oh.
Yeah, Ralph Wolf and Sam Sheepdog.
Sam Sheepdog, yes.
And
The whole clocking into work every day.
Wasn't that just
Yes.
Wile E. Coyote?
no,
No, it was the same character.
red nose as opposed to black.
Yep, technically
Oh,
separate.
yeah, you're right. And they would just simply check into work. Cha-ching.
Yep. And then check out at the end of the day.
Hey, Sam.
They would literally be at each other's throats. Then the whistle would go off, and then they would stop, go punch out, head home.
Pretty much.
Yep.
That's actually kind of a funny example of what it's actually like at work.
Mm-hmm.
It's like,
Mm-hmm.
I can't stand you, I hate you, I can't stand you, I hate you, I can't stand you, I hate you, I'm just doing my job, I can't stand you, I hate you.
But they're friends afterwards too.
Then, cha-ching! Okay.
Just work.
I think they were even roommates at one point. No, they were they were neighbors across the street.
Yeah, they were neighbors. And they just check out. And it's like, I actually had coworkers like that where during work, specifically it was at the theater that I was working at, like, we couldn't stand each other working with each other. Like, it was just maddening. And then we'd clock out, and then we'd be like, you want to hit up the bar? Which was, like, literally right across the walkway. You know, because we were in, like, an outdoors mall. And I'm like,
Right.
yeah, let's go. And we'd buy each other drinks, and we'd laugh and chat about idiots and whatnot, and stuff that we liked, and then we'd move on. It's like
As you
oh
do.
my gosh, how true is this? It's like there are certain people, I believe, that it's like you're better as friends than as coworkers.
Mm-hmm.
And then there are people that you are better coworkers than friends.
Sure.
And I have experienced both.
I think we all have in one way
Yeah.
or another.
Yeah. So
True.
no truer words have been. Well, I'm sure truer words have been spoken. Just anyway. What are we talking about? Looney Tunes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, kind of going along the lines of the Sam Wolf and or Sam Sheepdog and Ralph Wolf. Did you know that there was an amazing game for the PlayStation 1 based around Wile E. Coyote, Roadrunner, and Sam Sheepdog?
I did not know that.
Oh my gosh, it was an amazing game. One of my favorites. The demo hooked me back when I used to get like the PS1 Jam Pack demo discs.
Yeah, the demo.
Do you guys remember those?
Those are
Demo
awesome.
discs. Oh, anyways, it was
The demo
Looney
disc
Tunes
is what-
Sheep Raider.
Sorry, go ahead.
Looney Tunes Sheep Raider was an amazing game. It was one of those games where you actually had to think and solve puzzles to figure out how to get a sheep without Sam pummeling you and getting the sheep to the exit so that you can move on to the next level. And it gave you a bunch of different items, like Acme items. So, like, you'd
Nice.
run through the game, and then you'd find a mailbox, and then you literally put a letter in it, and then you get airdropped a desk fan. And you use that desk fan, and you go around, and you order another item from Acme, and it gives you a bottle of sheep pheromones. So you put the bottle of sheep pheromones down and use the desk fan to blow it towards the sheep. And then the sheep comes over to you. You pick it up. You put it in the circle. You end the level. And then they
There
get
you go.
progressively crazier.
Right.
Wow. That sounds.
That does sound.
That sounds.
It's like
to be
playing
honest,
an episode of the show.
That sounds really fun, but also overly complicated.
It is, but
Love
it
it.
was amazing.
Oh my god. That's amazing. My favorite Looney Tune is easily Daffy Duck.
Yeah, he's a good one too.
But it's interesting to see how his character has progressed over the years.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
How he started off from actually being completely nuts.
Yes, absolutely crazy duck.
Yeah, just boing, 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 bouncing all over the place, just
Like the
stretching.
Tigger of ducks.
Yes, yes, but crazier than Tigger.
Yes.
And then he slowly evolved into this self-absorbed, pompous prick.
Prima donna.
Prima donna, exactly. Just this.
So the Merry Melodies version of Donald Duck that could actually speak and you don't need subtitles for.
Yes. Oh, and it finally dawned on me one day. Ding! Why is it called Merry Melodies? And why is it called Looney Tunes? And it's spelled not Toones, it's spelled Tunes.
Mm-hmm.
It's because their shows are music centric.
Mm-hmm.
No shit.
A lot of classic music gets played on those. Yeah.
It didn't dawn on me until like maybe 7 to 10 years ago. I just had this moment, like I was like smoking weed or something, and I was like, holy shit.
You get Wagner, you get the Barber of Seville.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, that was an amazing one.
That one was good.
With freaking Bugs Bunny rubbing his toes into Elmer Fudd's head.
I was immediately thinking that. Also, not to mention the also famous "Killed a Wabbit, killed a Wabbit, killed a Wabbit." Yeah, the Wagner one. Yeah.
Have you ever listened to, like Ride of the Valkyrie when it comes up and immediately think of the lyrics to Get the Rabbit or Kill the Rabbit?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
That happens to me every time.
You know what's really cool is I actually saw it performed live in concert. They were performing it live in concert with the cartoon.
Oh yeah.
On screen
No way!
at the Hollywood Bowl.
They also did a version of that at the Irvine amphitheater up above where I hope you'll know this is where Wild Rivers used to be, by the old lion preserve.
Oh, they got rid of Wild Rivers.
They did. I mean, it's technically still there. It's just it's not operational because it wasn't profitable anymore.
There are better and safer water parks and theme parks than it.
Yep.
You know, I actually almost died off of one of their slides.
Oh no.
Because they had like the drop.
Oh yeah,
it's like a 50-foot like just dip down, straight down.
Right.
And it's supposed to be quite the rush, right? So I followed everything that they said. Apparently, as I'm going down, everything goes silent.
Oh dear.
Because everyone is watching me, and they're like, you were like 5 feet away from the slide itself.
It's a free wee-wee!
And I somehow landed properly back onto the slide. And
that's right, 'cause it had an open portion too. That was it wasn't like a closed.
No, it wasn't
tube.
a closed tube. It was an open one. It was a half pipe.
Oh boy.
I went full on like 5 feet out.
Wow.
And
Goodness.
I somehow landed. And I was like, oh, wow, that's kind of a hard landing. Not sure entirely what happened. And I popped on like, damn, that was fun. And they're like, dude, you almost fucking died. And this was like a church event, so it's like hearing a counselor said you almost fucking died. I'm like, hey, what?
Oh wow.
Hold on. Yep. Is it that time again?
So what other cartoons or shows or things from let's see, you talked about the 80s quite a bit there with your G.I. Joes and all
that. All the commercial cartoons. Yep.
Actually, you just gave me a brilliant idea. Hold on, not quite 90s necessarily, but you have a wealth of knowledge of 80s television media. What were some of your most memorable commercials?
Oh, shoot. Okay, let me think. Back to the 80s cartoon or commercials. The oh god, there was one for it was a board game. The name is escaping me, but it was basically like you would shoot marbles to hit like little star-shaped spinners.
Crossfire!
Yeah,
yes!
Crossfire.
Oh my god! That lasted
That
through the
one,
90s
that'll be
too.
stuck in my mind until the day I die. 'Cause that jingle,
Likewise.
that jingle.
Oh.
Oh,
Or frig, what was the other one? It wasn't like that. It was another board game. What was it? You rolled the dice and you drew cards, and
mhm.
you'd land on spaces where you had to push on this little alarm clock. And
Oh, Don't Wake Daddy.
remember, yeah, Don't Wake Daddy.
Yeah, Don't Wake
That was another
Daddy.
really
Yeah,
interesting one.
that one. I'm trying to think other commercials.
There was the Mousetrap commercial that was really funny too.
Mousetrap was the Hungry Hungry Hippos.
Oh, who doesn't remember?
Um,
Or Elephant the Elephant. I mean, that was a
yeah,
kids thing, but I mean that commercial was everywhere.
yeah, oh yeah. Gosh, trying to think what other commercials were all over the place that weren't just like that weren't just like, hey, coming up next is this, and I'm trying to think of like specific like ads that would always come on. I remember there being a lot of Toys R Us ads. Oh, welcome back.
Oh, we're talking about ads, are we?
Yeah,
Yeah,
we're talking about the ads.
Speaking
commercials
of
that would come on.
ads,
Oh no, what a
Oh, was that
segue!
time?
This is a Paul Blart segue if I ever saw one.
Don't tip it
Hey,
over.
ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, are you a nerd? Good. Well, if you're not, my question is one, why you're listening? Or actually, a better question would be, welcome to the fold. Let's all stand together and shake each other's hands and get to greet each other. Hi, thank you. Nice to meet you. Now you may all be seated. So, wanted to let you know about a couple of things about the show. We actually do have a sponsor. They're called True Apparel One. At True Apparel One on Twitter. They make excellent nerd-centric and game-centric apparel. They're very comfy and professional, and for some reason that you don't have any artwork prepared for them, don't steal somebody else's artwork. Come to us first, so that we can draw it for you. And we'll get it ready for you, and then you can have your own professionally made comfy clothing with your own little character on your shirt. That's True Apparel 1. You can speak to them directly. And you can also contact them on Instagram, I believe. Is that correct?
Yeah, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter.
Yep, and Twitter.
Trifecta.
At True Apparel 1. You can find the link in our description. Anyway, moving on.
Indeed.
Who needs a script when you have an accent?
Everybody.
Quiet too.
Except for those who improv.
I'm trying to get better at my improv.
Your improv is getting better.
Yeah, you're doing good.
That ad was actually really good. I mean, compared to the first improv ad you did, this one was amazing.
The first one where I'm like,
how do I do this? What do I do?
True Apparel, they're on Twitter,
and Facebook, and I think they have. Is it Instagram? I can't remember. What is it? Oh crap! Instagram.
And
yes.
they also do artwork for you, and then you're like, they actually don't, and I'm like, oh.
They do their own artwork. They do outsource graphic designers for certain things. But
definitely come to us first. Come on.
Yeah.
Support the show.
Come to your friend.
Support the show. Support your friends. Get something.
Trust me, you've seen. If you haven't looked at any of my artwork, then I'm surprised.
If you order something custom, we'll thank you for your custom.
Oh yes, and it'll be excellent. Because I mean, come on, what's What's $15 for a high quality image that you can put on a high quality T-shirt,
Or hoodie.
or a hoodie, or even a cap?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Do they do toques too? I can't remember. They've been
Possibly.
updating their line actually.
Well, I
They've
know that I don't know
more-
about toques, but I know that they do baseball caps.
that's something.
Yeah, they do embroidery.
That's awesome.
So there we go. There we go. Yep. TRUAPPAREL1 at True Apparel 1. Go get 'em.
Get him.
Get 'em.
Right? Gosh, no, I'm not gonna say that.
Well,
Oh.
geez.
And we just suddenly lost like half of our audience.
I was gonna say,
wow.
Death Envoy isn't even here, and we're gonna lose our sponsor again. Jeez.
Easy come, easy go.
Oh god.
Little high, little low.
I think they appreciate the humor.
I hope so. I mean, if the blasted McElroys can do their weird ass ads, we can surely get away with ours.
I was trying to pull off like a oh gosh, what's his name? Nostalgia. I was trying to do like originally when I was writing up my scripts, I was trying to do like a nostalgia critic kind of style. And then of course, Death Envoy is just like, I'm just gonna rewrite your script. I'm like, wait, what? I'm gonna say whatever the fuck I want. I'm like, you piece of poop.
Pooty patooty.
Sounds like rat and patootie. Rat patootie.
Ratatouille?
Rat patootie.
But tutti frutti.
So back to ads.
Back to ads.
Ads that I always remember being very entertaining for weird reasons were the Super Soaker ads.
Yeah.
Because they made the Super Soakers seem so epic. And they're like,
Super Soakers were freaking epic.
I mean, they were, but the thing is, it's like
You got the good
made
ones,
it.
yeah.
They made it sound like each one was better than the last one, and they all did the same fucking thing.
No, they didn't. Actually, I used to go to Super Soaker events at summer camps and stuff. And I had one of the more entry level ones. It was the XP150 actually, the teal colored one with the purple bubbles on top.
Yeah.
And it took so much effort to pump in enough air to keep it going that, as you know, an 8-9-year-old kid, your arms got really tired really fast. And then you had the other kids who had like what was it? The one that had the 3 nozzles. So you'd pump it up and it would shoot out of the 3 nozzles at the front, or you'd pull the little lever and it would spread sideways, so you do like a T shot. And that thing was easier to pump up than the XP150. And the bigger ones you got like the water backpack that would connect to it, so you'd be able to use like 3 times the amount of water as the standard ones.
The backpacks never worked for me.
Easier to do.
They never worked for me.
Well, then you got really bad gear.
Yeah, I got rigged.
You got gypped.
It's just like, well, either way, it's like I'm pumping, I can pump it up to its max level, and I can shoot it, and it's shooting at the same distance and rate as everything else.
But the water backpack increased your capacity.
Yeah. Nerf was much better for me. But the thing
Super Soaker is owned by Nerf.
The thing about Super Soaker. Well, now it's owned by Nerf, but it didn't used to be.
It was before. It actually, I'm pretty sure. I'll have to do the research to find out for sure. But I'm pretty sure that Super Soaker was a division of. Oh.
No, it was a division
Is
of...
it actually Nerf?
No, it was always a division of Mattel.
Right. So Super Soaker was also a division of Mattel, and then they merged the two, considering that you can now buy Nerf water guns.
That was recent. Very
It
recent.
was recent they rebranded it under Nerf, but I thought that they were both owned by the same company.
Maybe the same parent company, but
Yeah.
either way, I just
That's what I
loved it. What I'm trying to say is, like, I felt like I was getting the same gun, and the commercials always just like, bigger number, bigger water, bigger everything, and I'm like, it's the same freaking gun. Even as a kid, I was just like, it's the same dumb gun.
Just a different package.
Yep, pretty much. But I have to say, once they rebranded it under the Nerf brand, they do look pretty darn cool. But they lost their original style.
Mm-hmm. Well, the original style was very 90s.
Yeah, they
Neon
had
colors,
they had
yeah.
the bright colors and the bubbly look. You know, they had the water tanks were always very bubbly. But no, they still used the air bladder mechanic.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what like anytime that you have like a Nerf gun that has a clip attached to it, that's what they have. They have the air bladder.
Mm-hmm.
I used to be part of a community that actually took Nerf guns apart and we would modify them. So a Nerf gun that would say can shoot over 45 feet. Like, wow-wee! Now I'm hitting my target at 110 feet away accurately.
13 years to 40. Wow, 45-meter shot. That is incredible.
Yep. We required everyone to wear
0.05 of a kilometer.
We required everyone to wear goggles.
Yep.
Understandably so.
Prudent.
Somebody just came in with their glasses and they thought that was fine. They lost one of their lenses.
Oh dear.
RJ, you'll know exactly who that person is.
Rule number 1: we always have time for safety.
It was Michael Hubbard.
Oh no, poor Mike.
Yeah, he was sliding down a slide at the Santa Ana Park across the street from the main place
man.
mall. He's sliding down the slide, and we were having a small little war, and we were having a good old time, and I can't remember. I think the rule of the game was like however many times that we could get somebody to slide down the slide, depending on your team, gets a point. But if you get hit, then you have to be out for like 5 minutes.
Ooh, gotcha.
All right. So we're all trying to get our team members up the slide. These are grown men here, gentlemen, folks.
Right.
Go up the slide and slide down the slide. And at the same time, we're trying to stop them with our Nerf guns.
Oh, jeez.
And he's sliding down, and as he's sliding down, he takes his awesome shot. Like, it was a great shot. I'm not kidding you.
Mm-hmm.
He takes this guy out, but at the same time, the other guy also took a shot at the same time. And it knocked his glasses out.
Oh dear.
It's like, no.
Oh dear.
It ruined the rest of the day for him. And it was such a good game though. Like we were really enjoying ourselves, and then that happened. And we're like, okay, everybody stop. Let's all look around the area and try to find the glass.
Oh boy.
Fortunately, we found it. And we put it and he was able to put it back in. But at the same time, it's like, see, this is why we need you to wear a pair of like plastic glasses or goggles over your regular glasses. He's like, all right.
Lesson learned.
Exactly.
Yep. Indeed.
Why
anyway, we were talking about ads.
You cannot.
What?
Why have glasses when you cannot?
Oh dear.
Tom, you only have one leg. That's fine.
That's fine.
Now you have
no
no
legs.
legs. Like they say.
Why, you know what they say? Why have legs when you cannot?
Oh god.
Also not early 90s. Oh jeez.
Hey, crime's totally cool. I got a skateboard. Let's blow this joint. Pogs. That's
Oh
rad.
man.
That's
Yep.
rad cop. Bummer.
Oh my god, Pogs.
I was totally into
That
Pogs.
takes me back.
I was so into Pogs.
I actually went to a Pog convention. My parents were so sweet to me. They took me to a Pog convention, and I got most of my collection there because they were giving out like free ones, and I even stepped up to a table and played with some people. I lost every time.
I got.
Wow.
I used to get so many Pogs. My parents would every time we'd go to like McDonald's or anything like that, wherever they had like those little 5-packs of Pogs just for whatever promotion, like Batman Forever or
Right.
anything like Lion King, junk like that. Used to get I would get the entire collection. So I'd have a full collection of those Pogs, and then all of my duplicates I could take with me to school to play.
Oh, milady. There was a promotion going on through our local newspaper in the early 90s. It was for one of the early 90s FIFA soccer tournaments. And they had Pogs, kind of like how they had like baseball cards. They had Pogs for not only each country, so they had a Pog for each country flag, but they also had a Pog for their top players.
Oh, kind of like the Magic the Gathering Pro cards.
What?
Except for Pog Pro players, right? So in Magic the Gathering, you get a Pro card.
No, it was for FIFA soccer.
Oh, wait,
Like
what?
like baseball cards.
Okay, then I'm
so like baseball cards where they have like, this is a card for this team and this player.
Gesundheit again.
Thank you. They had Pog cards, not Pog cards. They had collectible Pogs for FIFA soccer, or I'm sorry, for the rest of the world, football. Players as well, and I had the entire.
Oh, I used to get the hockey players.
Yeah, okay, yeah. So you know what I'm talking about, and I had the hockey player ones too. It eventually boiled down to me keeping my Goosebumps ones. My
I didn't really have any Goosebumps ones.
My Spider-Man ones.
Casper the Friendly Ghost.
I had some of
That was a set I
I
had.
definitely had some of the classics. Yeah, yeah, and kept some of the slammers. My
Oh
favorite
yeah, gotta keep
slammer.
those.
Oh, of course, I had a bunch of Power Rangers, and oh my God, here we
Oh,
go, ladies
oh,
and gentlemen. We're gonna bring in the Power Rangers.
yes.
Go
Now,
go Power Rangers.
before we move on, back to just my last comment on the Pogs. I sold, um, about 100 packs unopened of original Quebec French language Power Rangers Pogs. So these were,
Ooh.
your cardboard backing with the little plastic cup, the black plastic cup that wouldn't let you see what the Pogs were.
Yeah.
I had 100 of these packs, and I sold all of them to somebody for $25, unopened. Yeah, I'm kicking myself. Thank you.
Yeah, I just
Sorry,
face
man.
palmed because
Sorry.
I'm just thinking like you could have easily gotten that for that price times 10.
Oh, I could have, except I sold them about 8 years ago.
I'm sorry.
Hindsight's always 2020.
Oh,
Yep.
geez, yeah. If hindsight wasn't 2020, I wouldn't be kicking myself about the giant chunk of game collection I sold. But that's for another time. We should have an adult regrets episode.
Regrets.
Oh, that's a good one. I like
It's
that.
a bad one.
No,
Uh,
I
I mean,
like
yes,
that.
but
all right, I have to take a 5-minute intermission. You guys continue.
okay.
So, okay, since I'm not sure how much, you know what? Let's continue a little bit more about ads because I do want to bring in Power Rangers, but as a fun little um, way of mixing the two together from Pogs to Power Rangers,
Sure.
the Pog convention that I went to was also a Power Ranger convention.
Ooh, fun.
Yep, it was at the Anaheim Convention Center, and where the original Southern California Anime Convention was at,
Mm-hmm.
and it was in their big amphitheater. So after playing some Pogs and walking around and picking up some Pogs and playing some rounds, we go over and we go to the big amphitheater,
Mm-hmm.
and there they have the Pink Ranger and the Green Ranger
Ooh.
on the big stage in the center.
Yeah. Wow.
And and the Pink Ranger took my sister's hand and shook it and said,
Aw.
"Hey, cutie," and moved on, you know. And
Right.
then the Green Ranger just looked at me and says, "Hey there, champ, be the best." And he just shook my hand really hard and he kept moving on, and I'm just like, I
Oh,
will never ever clean this
never
hand.
forget.
No, I will never clean this hand. I will never wash this hand. I very quickly learned that I should actually wash my hand.
Well, obviously, but the sentiment.
Right. I believe I told Sasha this, so I think that she won't be offended by me not saying it when she gets back.
No worries.
But yeah, no, that was a really special, like, it was a huge moment. Like, he was in his green Power Ranger suit, and I was the Green Ranger for Halloween, and he's my favorite, and he was just
Tommy,
right there.
yeah.
Tommy. Oh, yeah, and he didn't have his mask on. It was just, I could tell that it was him, and he was beaming with energy. And that's what's so great about that old show. You know?
Mhm.
All of the actors really enjoyed being a part of it. They loved it. Especially Bulk and Skull.
Right. Yeah, and I
They,
like their growth over the various
yeah,
different
definitely.
shows because they totally grew in amazing and sometimes hard to believe ways. But
But yeah, no. Actually, out of the entire staff, the three people who enjoyed working on it the most were Bulk and Skull and Tommy.
yeah,
And there was recently a Power Rangers, not the live action movie that just came out, but there was like an adult, mature version of the Power Rangers, and they got back some of
hmm
the old cast.
cool.
But Tommy refused to be part of it.
Ah,
The reason why is because he felt that it was too mature. Like, it was very dark. It was very dark.
I can respect that.
And he said, no, this is a kid's show. It's supposed to have certain morals and meanings to it. Super Senpai is not supposed to represent what this gritty thing you're trying to do.
I can
So
totally respect his stance on that.
he absolutely refused to be a part of it. Bulk and Skull also weren't part of it. Well, that just simply was because
Probably weren't asked.
they weren't asked to be part of the script, but they were the longest lasting cast members of the from the
Yeah,
original cast.
because they were like all the way to like the space pirate season, right?
Yes.
Or even beyond that. Gosh,
They can't get themselves away from the show.
why would they?
They freaking love it. They
Yeah,
love everything about it. They own it. It's like it's just they love the hamminess and they deliver the hamminess and they love what the show is all about. They love
exactly.
kaiju. They love senpai, sentai, not
Yeah,
senpai.
the tokusatsu or the yeah.
Super Sentai, Super
Super
Sentai,
Sentai.
Super Sentai. Um,
Oh, very good.
Another show that I really liked that was actually part of that series, was the was it Masked Rider?
Kamen Rider, yeah.
Yeah, he was like an insect.
Kind of, yeah. Sort of insecty helmet they would wear.
Yeah, and there were actually several of them. And the first time of them introducing him into American culture was through the Power Rangers.
Right, because it's again the tokusatsu
Yep.
style shows.
Mm-hmm. And
I remember the manga of that is actually very choice. Same artist and writer who did the Legend of Zelda comic for the Nintendo Power. Also was the creator of Kamen
nice.
Rider.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah.
So his original name was Kamen Rider?
The Japanese title, yeah, I think it translates to Kamen Rider, which is Masked Rider.
Yeah,
basically.
yeah, he was the masked rider in American.
And there's a couple. I know there's a couple different.
There,
like the
there are
Power Rangers, they
several-
made
no,
different
there are
versions.
there are several writers in
Like
the same
Forze
way.
and yeah.
In the same way that there's more than just the Green Lantern. There's more than just the Masked Rider.
Do you remember a show called VR Troopers?
Do I ever?
We are VR.
I freaking loved that show.
Along similar lines, I mean, it's like there was a period of time they realized, like, oh wait, this Power Rangers thing is super popular, like way more than we thought. What else can we get? And like they brought over Ultraman and Kamen Rider and
Whoa,
VR
they actually
Troopers.
brought Ultraman over?
I remember, and now I don't remember if it was like ever shown like on a major network, but I remember seeing they did a Power Rangers style version of Ultraman where he was like inside a computer and like he was in the virtual world and they would summon Ultraman to fight like virus monsters, kaiju. It wasn't very great, and it was again
It
very different from
sounds
the original
really
material.
stupid.
Oh, it was, but it was Ultraman. The guy with the silver and red suit
I mean, like, you can't go
doing
wrong.
the crossbeam. Yeah.
It's just the fun B grade shoddiness.
Mm-hmm. Like the Japanese Spider-Man.
Oh my gosh, that's a show that
Yeah.
that's a show I want to see.
Oh, you would love it. You would love it.
Man.
It is delightful.
Now, so yeah, when it came to VR Troopers, there was an old toy store in our area called Imaginarium.
No, yeah. I remember they had a branch at the Main Place Mall at one point.
Exactly. And they had like this tiny little door for the kids to crawl through.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
That was fun.
So, they had these pair of glasses that looked kind of like the VR Trooper glasses.
Ooh.
And they made everything look like shiny and glittery and kind of pixelated.
That's cool.
So I'd go running outside going, and I'd throw those glasses on. I'd be like, "We are VR."
Nice.
That little 5-year-old me. Now here's the real question: do you remember a TV show called Beetleborgs?
I do remember the Mighty Beetleborgs.
The Mighty Beetleborgs.
Oh man.
That was more camp than anything else.
Yeah, that was late into the whole
that was basically just
the Sentai Rush.
Yeah, that was basically just like, we don't even care anymore. We're just gonna have fun.
We're gonna get some Guyver style designs all up in this. It's good.
The monsters, the 3 monsters that they had. There was like a Dracula, there was a mummy, and there was one other. What? Was it a werewolf?
Might have been a werewolf style villain.
I just remember that one of them had like this really obnoxiously fake chin.
Right. Let me look up the Beetleborgs. See if some pictures can help me out here. Oh yeah, there's the it was like a mix of Power Rangers and Guyver style designs for the heroes. Let's see, what are the yes? Oh, I got the I found the guy with the crazy town looking kind of guy.
Yeah, the crazy town. Yes, the crazy town.
He has that kind of little chin and hair. Oh, that's right, the big bad Beetleborgs. Yes, okay, so yeah, it was that guy. There was the Frankenstein. There was a Wolfman. And a Dracula.
And so it's like it was the 3 kids that became the Beetleborgs.
Right.
I always liked the green one.
Green one was cool with like the stag beetle horns.
Yeah.
Nice.
Oh god.
Sure they got the gold one.
Yeah, the crazy town looking guy.
Yeah, the green hair and the purple coat.
I don't know what he's supposed to be, but it's so creepy. It's like
definitely an uncanny valley.
It's like, what is this show supposed to be?
No idea.
I don't understand. I don't know. I don't understand.
It was a toy commercial for the.
It's true, but it was just so freaking.
God,
weird.
that chin is huge. Flabber was his name, wasn't it?
It's so gross.
Oh my goodness.
Wow. Oh, love it.
I need to go back and rewatch it. And it was like, I don't even remember
Gotta do
like
it.
what the threats were. Like, were they just random monsters or?
Probably. I mean, they probably again borrowed the Power Rangers formula and had them fight various.
But they were all in the house. Like nothing took place outside of the house. Or rarely.
Right.
Rarely.
Rarely. Trying to see like if I can see pictures of like things they actually fought. Oh yeah, there's the mummy.
Yeah, the mummy. Yeah, they
Mummy
did
dude.
fight outside of the house. I mean, I love their designs. Their
Yeah.
designs are freaking awesome.
Indeed.
But damn that. And he has that nose. I can't get over that character.
It's like a clown. It's like he's got a dangling ball sack for a chin and a giant clown nose.
It's like what if the Joker and Elvis had an unwanted child.
Exactly. Oh yeah, and Count Fangula.
Yeah, Count Fangula. Yeah. It was just, folks, this was just a weird fucking show, but it was
a wild one.
But you know what? It was really fun. I couldn't help but love it. It was dumb as hell.
And I love that they gave the Dracula guy like really 90s like floofy kind of like combed up hair almost.
Yep.
Like a Zack from Saved by the Bell.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I love it.
Oh man, just the entire Saban era was such a beautiful era.
Indeed.
And you know what? It still goes on today, and I believe that they're actually partially owned by Disney.
Probably. I can see that.
Yeah, they have Power Ranger toys and paraphernalia and costumes at Disney stores.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm gonna swap things over to another topic.
Gotcha.
If y'all.
Good night, Sasha.
Wait, Sasha, you leaving?
I am really feeling tired. It's midnight here for me, guys.
Honey,
Oh boy,
please
yeah.
hold on. Stick around just for this one brief moment.
I can stick around for a bit longer, don't you worry.
Just tell me, are you pondering what I'm pondering?
I don't know, Brain. But if they called them
You
sad
sound like
meals, no one would buy them.
That is hilarious.
Well, thanks, Sal Brain. But where are we gonna find a duck in a hose at this hour? Well, I think so, Brain. But where will we find an open tattoo parlor at this time of night? I think so, Brain. But me and Pippi Longstocking, I mean, what would the children look like?
That was a classic one.
Of course, the one that I have perfectly memorized is, well, I think so, Brain. But if Jimmy cracks corn and no one cares, why does he keep doing it? Folks,
well,
if you don't
so, Brain, but if we didn't have ears, we'd look like weasels.
Folks, if you don't know what we're talking about, this is Pinky and the Brain.
Which actually, did you know that's Pinky and the Brain, before they got their own breakout like side series show, started as a very short, like 2-minute skit on the Animaniacs?
Oh yeah.
Well, it was like
they were a breakout hit.
It was a 3-minute.
They were amazing.
Oh yeah, and they actually had to try to convince Spielberg that it could work as a show on its own. He's like, how could you possibly do a show about 2 lab mice trying to take over the world every episode? They said, it's very simple, right there. You just simply have a simple premise, and then we just come up with different ways that they try to take over the world. And then we just mess around with the formula and add a lot of fun little commentary. And Spielberg went, okay. Puts a stamp on it. Ends up being one of his favorite shows he's ever put a stamp on. Well, thanks so, Brain, but this time you put the trousers on the chimp.
Well, sure, Brain, but how are we going to find chaps our size?
Well, think so, Brain, but, balancing a family and a career, it's just too much for me.
Well, I can't memorize a whole opera in Yiddish.
So the premise is two genetically mentally enhanced lab mice are trying to take over the world, or at least one is trying to take over the world. And the question is, well, the statement is one is a genius and the other's insane.
Right.
And the question all of our lives has been, which one is the genius and which one's the one that's actually insane?
I'm sure there's a film theory on it.
It's very simple. Very, very simple.
And it's not what you think, I'm sure.
Pinky,
I mean, why can't it be both?
well, genius and insanity ride a fine line.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, Brain is constantly trying to do the same thing over and over and over again and expecting a different result. I'm sorry, can either of you tell me what that's the definition of?
I mean, technically he's not doing the same plan every time. There's different plans.
Different plans, but still.
That's technically doing something different. I mean, just because I go to work every day doesn't mean I'm insane. Well, maybe it does. Maybe I shouldn't speak too soon.
All I know is that I'm going insane going to work every day.
Oh, that's just called being an adult.
Adulting is insane.
Yes,
Don't know why anyone does it.
Well, I think
Alright,
so,
here's with me.
Brain.
Fuck
But
adulting and watch cartoons.
don't camels spit a lot?
Oh, well, that's where I'm gonna have to say goodnight.
All right. Good night,
I think,
Sasha.
Thank
you know,
you guys
we're
so much for
breaching
having me on the
on
podcast. I had a great time.
You know what? We're breaching on the 2-hour limit. I think 3 hours is actually a bit much. We've covered a lot of ground here, and
We have. It was good. I think we did it good on this one.
This was a very enjoyable episode.
I really honestly believe that this is a solid episode. So, for those of you watching, thank you for sticking it out. And, you know, go ahead and check out True Apparel 1. At True Apparel 1 on Twitter.
Indeed.
They'll get you the apparel and t-shirts and hoodies and things that you need. If you don't have the artwork already made, come to us first. I can totally draw something up for you for $15. Not a problem. Not an issue. Thank you for listening. And
well, I think so, Brain. But why would anyone want to see Snow White and the Seven Samurai? Good night, everybody.
Well,
Good night, everybody.
I think so, Brain, but does Banjo actually play the kazooie? Alright, good night, everybody. Mwah.
Love you.